What's up, guys? Today I'm talking about a ZT knife. You guys asked for more zero tolerance blades. I listened, I did some trades for some, and this is one of the first ones I got, so I have plenty of use on it now, and I'm comfortable doing a video on it. So this one is the ZT0909. All right, some quick specs, 3.8 inches. This is a drop point blade. The steel on this is S35VN. It's a stone wash finish, if you can't tell. This one, although I got it used in a trade, it was maintained very nicely. I don't know if it was, not used that much, or if the person just was really good at sharpening, but it had an awesome edge, kind of felt like a factory edge, and stayed nice and sharp as well. So KAI / ZT / Kershaw / Shun, they know how to do S35VN properly. All right, maintain an awesome edge. So great steel, great, usable working knife. Getting into that idea of usable and working knife, this thing is a beast. Comes in at 7 ounces. If you notice, the liners are not skeletonized. There is a little tiny cutout here on the lock bar side. And speaking of liners, I mean, these are extra thick liners. Technically, this is a liner lock, but the G10 scale is about as thick or thinner than the liner. All right, so although, it is a liner lock, it might as well be a frame lock with how thick that is. Perfect lockup. There's no play in any direction. Centering is also very nice on this knife. All right, closed here, 4.7 inches. Again, G10 scales, a little bit of contouring, a little bit of shaping. And overall, it is 8.8 inches. But the first thing I noticed in actually carrying this is you feel all of those 7 ounces. It is a chunky knife, okay? In the pocket, it's hefty, it's thick, and it's heavy. So I want to come in close here just to show you that you don't have the normal Torx head screw for the pivot. Basically just a nut and a bolt. All right, so you can use a regular wrench to take that apart. It's supposed to cater a little bit more for the average person, However, if you look down here, body screws are still Torx, okay? So it's nice to know you can adjust, any kind of play. If you get any play in the blade, you can adjust that out, or, at least take the pivot out. But you're still going to end up needing Torx drivers for those other body screws. So cool, but if you're going to do something like that, I like to see it continued, and maybe some Phillips or flathead screws, for those. Probably flathead's even better than Phillips, because Phillips strip obviously a little easier than flathead. So just personal opinion. But yeah, that's it's interesting. It's kind of cool. It makes it different. This is a flipper design. It does have a nice, decent little detent in here. Pretty strong. So basically, the stronger the detent, the harder it is for the blade to accidentally, come out in the pocket when you're not meaning for the blade to come out. But also, more importantly, you build up more pressure when you're pushing down on the flipper. So when it finally does pop free, you have more momentum to get that to flip out. If you get a flipper design with a really weak detent, sometimes you get like a half flip like this. It doesn't build up enough pressure. All right, so it's nice and strong, but it's still easy to use. I recently got a totally different knife that has a very, very hard, the detent's too much. It's too strong and it's very uncomfortable to use. This one, not so much. So instead of having like a weird triangle or super pointy flipper, this one has a very squared off one. You can see there's jimping all the way around. The jimping on the bottom doesn't do anything because if you push straight in, nothing happens. I literally tried to do this because they have that jimping all the way down. I thought maybe if I push in, and I can't. There's no way. I have to come up towards this little peak here. And even when it follows through, and as the guard, I thought maybe that would rub on the finger, but it doesn't, which is nice. It's a pretty deep finger troll here. All right, a little bit of jimping on the back. Again, this, if I didn't mention it already, this is a Les George design and basically mimics the Talos. The Talos have the same overall feel, the same little ramp here, or thumb rest, you could say. But the jimping that's here is totally cosmetic. It doesn't do anything for grip. It's just a place to put your thumb. Now, taking a look at the clip here, you might notice that this is a deep conceal style clip, which is interesting because it's not all the way at the top of the knife here. Usually when you have this style, it's way up here, so there's literally nothing showing. It's super deep concealed, but this still has some knife showing. I suppose it's still better than if it was a standard clip with its placement on the scales here would be, sticking up a lot more. So it's nor here or there. The tension's totally fine on this, but my problem, I don't know if you could hear that, it's very springy and twangy, okay? And I've noticed that sometimes when I open this, if my fingers aren't touching the clip, if it's like out here or something, I feel it. Like once the thwack of the blade opening, that pressure, that little jolt to the knife, the pocket clip vibrates. It's got that like, if you hit a spring, it's just kind of like, and it's just kind of vibrating there. So it feels almost a little cheap. Now this is tightened up perfectly to the frame, so it's not loose or anything. It's just, I don't know, twangy. You could feel that vibration. If my fingers are touching it, it prevents that. But I just noticed it just in carrying and using it. This is something you will never get from looking at a stock picture on a website or a dealer site. You know what I mean? And this is not a super common thing with pocket clips, but just so happens if I'm not touching that clip, once I open it, I could feel it. It's like ding. I don't know. It's hard to explain there, but maybe you guys get what I'm saying. Price on this knife is around $140 to $160. I think for what it's offering, it is priced well. It is a good knife. It is definitely a harder use knife compared to especially some of the other ZT models. I think you could definitely get in and dirty with this one a little bit more. The S35VN, you know, again, saying it's hard use, if you're using it properly, then you have no problems, you know, but some people consider hard use knives that they're going to dig with and pry and scrape and do all kinds of funky stuff that you should not be doing with your knife. So don't get me wrong, when I say hard use, I just mean that it's thicker, more robust, beefier, but still has an amazing, lean, sharp edge, okay? The only negative really to this one is, to me, it's somewhat plain. I mean, especially compared to other ZT models that are pretty interesting, very unique in design. This is just kind of blah. You know, this is ramen noodles, you know what I mean, with no extra spice to it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a very usable knife. It is very comfortable in the hand. The pocket clip doesn't create any hot spots or anything. It is swappable to left side carry if you didn't see that. And also, if you didn't notice, it is right side tip up. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of plain. You know, there's nothing that jumps out as being extra special with this one, other than the fact that it is a good user knife. You know what I mean? But it's hefty, especially when most knives are probably within, you know, the 3 to 5 ounce range. 7 ounces is noticeable. So it is chunkier. And in my particular case, you guys know I carry a ton of different gear. So although I'm not someone who's trying to shave off ounces here and there, it's not super important to me. I do notice those things, okay? Carrying a gun every day, you know, carrying all this extra gear. When you do have a heavier knife, I happen to notice. I notice it in the pocket like that. So that to me would be a little bit of a negative. If you don't carry a bunch of stuff, shouldn't make a difference either or. But, you know, overall, I am impressed with it. For the first ZT to kind of heavily use and carry, and, you know, I have to say, I do like the knife overall. It's just nothing special. It's not like a super cool looking knife or anything like that. It's a workhorse. It's an everyday, every guy's type of knife. You know what I mean? If you're looking to spend about 150 bucks, it's definitely worth looking into because you're going to get great performance out of that S35VN. And especially, you know, if you're a little bit weary about liner locks, this is the liner lock to have. Okay, super, super thick liners on this. And that is obviously contributing a lot to that extra weight. But super smooth, comfortable, you know, great lockup, great cutting performance, simple drop point blade, a little bit of belly here, nice point on it. You know, it's just middle of the road everything, but it works. It definitely works. It just doesn't scream extra cool or extra different. But yeah, I did like it. And I can tell you, you know, from using some other ZTs that as a whole, not that you needed to hear it from me, people already know, but the entire line is good. If you like your Kershaws, it's kind of got some Kershaw design influence here and there, but they're just upscale. They got the better steels in there. They have, you know, some of the better materials, and obviously the price tags reflect that, but it basically is Kershaws on steroids. Okay, so if you're a fan of Kershaw, definitely worth looking at different ZT models. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. You will see more ZT knife models in the future be reviewed, mixed in with a bunch of other stuff I've been testing out. But for now, the 0909, I like it. I think it's cool. So to sum it up, the ZT 0909 is an awesome working knife in every way. It's just kind of plain to me. This is the, you know, Toyota Corolla. You're going to get in it. It's going to work every day. You're not going to wow anyone at a car meet. You know, it's that kind of a knife. But I am impressed with it. I am impressed with it just for the overall quality. And it is definitely worth the price tag that they're asking. So there you go. Let me know your opinions if you have an 0909. Let me know how yours has worked out, things you like, don't like. You know, if you have a difference of opinions, post them down below so people can read them. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.